Stacey Abrams insults her own state, so why does she even want to be governor? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is another declaration of truth from your host, Terry A. Hurlbut. It's Georgia primary day today. In-person voting after weeks of early voting. Stacey Abrams, who is running without opposition for the Democratic nomination for governor, has to stay relevant, so she says the state she seeks to govern is the worst state in the country in which to live. We're going to talk about what she said, what other people are saying back at her, and a controversy entirely of mainstream media making about one of those people seeking the Republican nomination. Pay attention, because the mainstream media are deliberately leading you into the weeds, and I'm here to steer you clear. And before I'm done, I'll talk about the other races that are running in Georgia. Before I begin, I do want to shout out to Conservative News and Views, link in the description. Be sure to check out the awesome CNAV Store. Scroll down near the bottom for that link. Lots of good merchandise there, including this t-shirt. Can you read it? Rhino hunting. While I'm at it, I want to shout out to another sponsor, BitNext. This is your replacement for Zoom, Slack, the Google G Suite, Microsoft Office 365, Dropbox, WeTransfer, and Chili Piper, among others. Unlike any of them, BitNext protects your content and conversations so well that even the administrators can't see it. So this is your channel for secure comms, conferencing, cloud storage, and file sharing. Best of all, everything is back-end, so you don't even need client software. If you have a browser, you can use BitNext. Follow the link and give them a try. 28 days free of charge. You can't beat that with a stick. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, pay attention. I will try to explain this in simple language, but also on an adult level. Yes, Stacey Abrams really did say her state was the worst state in the country to live in. She made that remark at a fundraiser last weekend, according to NBC News. Republican frontrunner Brian Kemp has been saying in his campaign that Georgia is the best state in the country to do business. But that might not appeal to a Stacey Abrams, given the Marxist ideology she embraces. So naturally, she took exception. Here is a direct quote. "I am tired of hearing about being the best state in the country to do business when we are the worst state in the country to live." Now, somebody's going to try to PolitiFact me on this. Let me contextualize. When you're number 48 for mental health, when you're number 1 for maternal mortality, when you have an incarceration rate that's on the rise and wages that are on the decline, then you are not the number 1 place to live in the United States. But we can get there. You see, Georgia is capable of greatness. We just need greatness to be in our governor's office. Unquote, Stacey Abrams. Naturally, NBC News feels the need to support her remarks. So as evidence, they cite a mental health organization national rank chart of states and an American Health Rankings chart ranking states for maternal mortality and other indices. Now, I put links in the description to both of these because these sites are something you've got to see to believe. Whoever put the MHA charts together needs to go back to web design school. That page is riddled with duplication and other errors. And that American Health Rankings page, I can't make head nor tail of it. So teasing out the truth of the remarks by Stacey Abrams, forget it. Now, Brian Kemp, for his part, flatly disputed her remarks. He said, quote, "Georgia is the best state to live, work, and raise a family, and I will work every day from now until November to keep it that way for 4 more years." Unquote, Brian Kemp. I have a link in the description to his tweet saying that. Furthermore, Stephen Miller, who used to work for Donald Trump, called her remarks, quote, "a contender for all-time worst campaign slogan," unquote. I have a link in the description to his tweet, too. Brian Kilmeade on Fox and Friends called it very odd for Stacey Abrams to say something like that. I have a link in the description to the Fox and Friends video segment in which he says that. And now we come to David Perdue. He had the most scathing rebuttal, and immediately the mainstream media called him racist for saying it. Specifically, he said, and I quote, "Hey, she ain't from here. Let her go back where she came from. She doesn't like it here. Unquote. Now, hold the phone. He didn't mean Africa. Rather, he meant either Wisconsin, where she was born, or Mississippi, where she grew up. Stacey Abrams has been a resident of Georgia since high school. Some mainstream media sources say that to tell a black person that he or she should go back to where he or she came from is a racist thing to say in any workplace. Well, maybe. Maybe the mistake he made was not saying right away that he meant Wisconsin or Mississippi and not Africa. Perdue also referred to some remarks she made 4 years ago in the race she never conceded to Brian Kemp. The New York Post quotes him. When she told black farmers you don't need to be on the farm, and she told black workers in hospitality and all this, you don't need to be, she is demeaning her own race when it comes to that. Ouch! When's the last time you ever heard anybody say a thing like that? I would have said she was demeaning the jobs, not what he said. The last time anybody checked, Brian Kemp led David Perdue widely in early voting. Can Perdue catch up in-person voting today? We'll see. In all the excitement that Stacey Abrams and David Perdue have raised, it's easy to forget the other Georgia primary races. Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, is seeking renomination in her Georgia district. The Georgia Senate race is a crowded field, too. Raphael Warnock, the Democratic incumbent, has a single challenger. Herschel Walker has 5 other contenders for the Republican nomination. But polls show he will win that nomination easily. Polls close at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. How quickly we'll have results is anybody's guess, because what I didn't hear about was the real problem I have with Georgia elections, and that is that a temporary help placement agency is providing officers of election in Atlanta, and that the temp agency got its seed money from another firm Stacey Abrams co-owns. Links to the description of the article, to the resources that NBC News provided to back up Stacey Abrams' remarks, to reactions by Brian Kemp, Stephen Miller, and Brian Kilmeade, and to Conservative News and Views. I have another link to the awesome online store and to BitNext, as I mentioned. And if you like what you've heard, you can like this video and subscribe to this channel. This is Terry A. Hurlbut delivering another declaration of truth and reminding you to let the truth set you free.